So hey anime fans. The series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Pokemon? So let's start the series. The orphanage in Konoha village sat at the edge of town where the road turned to dirt and the streetlights stopped working. It was a plain building, 2 stories tall, with gray paint that peeled in long strips during the summer heat. Naruto had lived there his whole life. He was 12 years old now, and he never once left the village. On this particular morning, Naruto sat on the front steps with his chin in his hands. His knees were scabbed from falling the day before. A group of kids his age were walking past on their way to something. He didn't know what. They had backpacks and excited voices. One of them pointed at him and whispered something to the others. They all laughed. Naruto looked down at his feet. His shoes had a hole near the left toe. "You're just sitting there?" a voice said. Naruto looked up. One of the orphanage workers, a woman named Haruka who was always tired, stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. She had dark circles under her eyes. "There's nothing to do," Naruto said. "Then find something." She went back inside. The door clicked shut. Naruto stayed where he was. The morning sun was warm on his arms, but his hands felt cold. He rubbed them together, but it didn't help. He didn't understand why people looked at him the way they did. He'd asked Haruka once, a long time ago, and she'd gotten this strange expression on her face, like she'd bitten into something sour, and told him not to worry about it. But he did worry about it. He worried about it all the time. A bird landed on the ground near the steps. It was small and brown, with bright eyes that kept darting around. Naruto watched it hop along the dirt, pecking at things he couldn't see. The bird got closer. Naruto held very still. The bird hopped onto the bottom step. Then the second step. It was less than a foot away now, tilting its head to look at him. Naruto barely breathed. The bird made a soft sound. Pip. Then a car backfired somewhere down the street and the bird shot into the air and was gone. Naruto let out his breath. His chest felt tight, but he didn't know why. He sat there for a long time after that, even when his stomach started growling. That afternoon, a man came to the orphanage. Naruto was in the backyard, throwing rocks at a rusted tin can he propped against the fence. He wasn't very good at hitting it. Most of his rocks went wide or short. But it gave him something to do with his hands. The back door opened and Haruka stepped out. She had that sour expression again. "Naruto. Someone's here to see you." Naruto turned around. A rock slipped from his fingers and hit the ground. The man standing behind Haruka was tall and thin, with silver hair that stuck up in the back like he just rolled out of bed. His eyes were dark and half-closed, like he was bored or sleepy. Naruto couldn't tell which. He wore a long green coat over simple clothes. A scarf covered the lower half of his face. Naruto had never seen him before. "This is Kakashi," Haruka said. Like that explained everything. Kakashi raised one hand in a lazy wave. "Hello?" Naruto didn't wave back. "Who are you?" "I told you," Haruka said, her voice getting tight. "This is..." "I heard." Naruto kept looking at the man. "But why is he here?" Kakashi's visible eye crinkled slightly, maybe a smile behind the scarf. "I'm here because of you, actually." Naruto felt his stomach drop. That was never good. Whenever someone came because of him, it meant bad news. It meant whispers and stares and people crossing the street to avoid him. "I didn't do anything," Naruto said quickly. No. Kakashi waved his hand. "Not like that. Come sit down. We need to talk." They sat on the back steps. Haruka went inside, but Naruto could see her watching through the kitchen window. The tin can still lay against the fence where Naruto had been aiming. A bird flew over, maybe the same one from this morning. Kakashi reached into his coat and pulled out a small device. It was rectangular, about the size of his palm, with a foldable screen on top. He handed it to Naruto. Naruto took it carefully. The device was warm from being against Kakashi's body. The screen showed a picture of a red and white sphere. "Do you know what that is?" Kakashi asked. Naruto shook his head. "It's a Pokeball. For catching Pokemon." The word meant nothing to Naruto. He said so. Kakashi nodded like he'd expected this answer. "Pokemon are creatures. They live all over the world, in forests, in caves, in the ocean. Some are small like bugs. Some are huge, bigger than buildings. People train them, battle with them, befriend them." He paused. "In other regions, children your age leave home and travel the country with their Pokemon. It's tradition." Naruto looked at the screen again. The red and white sphere seemed so simple. What does this have to do with me? In Konoha, we don't have Pokemon. Kakashi's voice was quiet now. Not the way other places do. But sometimes, very rarely, a child is born who can connect with them anyway. Who they come to. He looked at Naruto directly. You're one of those children. Naruto's hands went cold again. He didn't understand what this man was saying. It sounded like a dream, the kind he had sometimes where things actually made sense. But he always woke up. There's no such thing, Naruto said. His voice came out rougher than he meant. Kakashi didn't argue. He just sat there, patient, while the afternoon sun moved slowly across the yard. After a while, he reached into his coat again and pulled out something else. This time it was a pokeball. A real one. It fit in the palm of his hand, smooth and slightly heavy. There's a Pokemon inside this ball, Kakashi said. She's been waiting a long time for someone. Will you meet her? Naruto stared at the ball. His heart was beating hard in his chest, the way it did when he was about to get in trouble, or when the older kids cornered him in the hallway. But this felt different too. He didn't have words for how it felt. He nodded. Kakashi pressed the button on the front of the ball. It expanded in his hand, then opened with a soft pop and a flash of white light. The light took shape on the ground in front of them. When it faded, a creature stood there. She was small, about the size of a cat, with cream-colored fur and large brown eyes. Her ears were long and pointed, with dark brown tips. Something that looked like a tuft of orange fur sat on top of her head. Her tail was long and curled, also tipped with brown. She blinked in the sunlight, then looked at Naruto. Naruto forgot to breathe. The creature, the Pokemon, took a step toward him. Then another. Her nose twitched. She sniffed the air around him, then his shoes, then his hand where it rested on his knee. Warm, Naruto thought. Her nose was warm against his skin. She looked up at him. Made a soft sound. Eevee. Kakashi was saying something but Naruto didn't hear the words. He was looking at this small creature who had come out of a ball of light, and was now sitting at his feet like she'd always been there. Like she belonged there. His eyes stung. He blinked hard. I don't understand, Naruto said. His voice cracked on the last word. Eevee tilted her head. Then she jumped up onto the step beside him and pressed her small warm body against his leg. Kakashi watched them for a moment, then stood up. I'll come back tomorrow. We have a lot to talk about. He walked toward the side gate, then paused. Her name is Machi, by the way. At least, that's what I've been calling her. You can change it if you want. He left through the gate. The latch clicked behind him. Naruto sat on the steps with Machi pressed against his leg. The sun kept moving. The shadows got longer. His stomach growled again, but he barely noticed. After a while, very carefully, he reached down and touched her fur. It was soft. Softer than anything he'd ever felt. Machi looked up at him and made that sound again. Eve. Naruto didn't say anything. He couldn't. But he didn't move his hand away either. That night, Naruto couldn't sleep. He lay in his narrow bed in the room he shared with 3 other boys who weren't there. They'd been adopted years ago, one by one, leaving empty beds that no one ever filled. The moonlight came through the window and made a pale rectangle on the floor. Machi was curled up on the pillow beside his head. He could hear her breathing, little soft sounds that he kept checking on because he was afraid she might stop. He still didn't understand what was happening. This morning he'd been throwing rocks at a can. Now there was a living creature sleeping on his pillow like it was the most natural thing in the world. His mind kept circling back to what Kakashi had said. Children who can connect with them. Who they come to. No one had ever come to Naruto before. No one had ever chosen him. He reached up and touched Machi's fur again. Just to make sure she was real. She stirred slightly, then settled back down. Naruto stared at the ceiling. His eyes were wet again, but he didn't wipe them. There was no one here to see. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, he whispered. Machi's ear twitched. That was all. Outside, somewhere in the village, a dog barked. The wind moved through the trees. Naruto listened to these sounds and tried to quiet his mind. But it kept racing ahead to tomorrow, to whatever Kakashi would tell him, to whatever came next. He never had a next before. Every day was the same as the last. But now there was something waiting. Machi made a small sound in her sleep. Naruto closed his eyes. Kakashi came back the next morning, just like he said he would. Naruto was already sitting on the front steps when he arrived. He'd been there since sunrise, couldn't sleep anymore. Machi sat beside him, watching the road with those bright brown eyes. Every time a bird flew past, her ears perked up. Kakashi walked up the path with his hands in his pockets. He looked the same as yesterday, same lazy eyes, same scarf, same messy hair. Like he hadn't changed clothes or slept. "You're up early," Kakashi said. Naruto shrugged. He didn't want to admit he'd barely slept at all. Kakashi sat down on the step below them, turning so he could face both Naruto and Machi. Up close, Naruto could see lines around his visible eye that he hadn't noticed before. The man was older than he first seemed. "How is she?" Kakashi nodded at Machi. "Fine." Naruto hesitated. "She ate some of my breakfast. The cook got mad." Kakashi's eye crinkled. "Pokemon need to eat. We'll need to get proper food for her soon." He paused. "Which brings me to why I'm here." Naruto waited. "In other regions," Kakashi said, "children your age leave home to become Pokemon trainers. They travel, catch new Pokemon, battle gym leaders, challenge the league. It's a journey." He looked at Naruto directly. "I think you should go on that journey." Naruto blinked. "Leave Konoha?" "Yes." "I've never." Naruto stopped. He'd never been anywhere. He'd never even seen the village gates, just heard stories from other kids about what lay beyond them. "There's a region called Johto," Kakashi continued. "It's across the sea. They have a trainer school there, and a professor who's agreed to take you on. You'd learn about Pokemon, about training, about everything you need to know." He reached into his coat and pulled out an envelope. "This is your ticket. Boat leaves in 3 days." Naruto stared at the envelope. He didn't take it. "Why?" he asked. Kakashi's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes shifted. "What do you mean? Why are you doing this? Why me?" Naruto's voice was getting tight. People don't just show up and give things. There's always something. Always." The words hung in the air. Machi shifted beside him, picking up on his tension. Kakashi was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "You're right. There's always something." He looked down at his hands. "I had a student once. A long time ago. He was like you, alone, angry, didn't trust anyone. I didn't help him enough. By the time I realized what he needed, it was too late." His voice was flat, matter-of-fact. But Naruto could hear something underneath it, something heavy. "Someone asked me to find you," Kakashi continued. "To make sure you got a chance he didn't." He looked up. "That's the something. That's why I'm here." Naruto didn't know what to say. His chest felt tight again. "The ticket's real," Kakashi said. "The offer's real. You don't have to decide now. Think about it. Talk to Machi, she's got opinions, even if she can't speak them." He stood up, dusting off his pants. "I'll come back tomorrow." He walked away. Naruto watched him go, the envelope still sitting on the step where he'd left it. After a long time, Naruto picked it up. It was heavier than he expected. His name was written on the front in neat handwriting. Naruto Uzumaki. He traced the letters with his finger. Machi pressed against his leg. "I don't know what to do," he said. Machi looked up at him. Then she reached out and touched the envelope with her nose. That afternoon, Naruto walked through the village. He didn't have a destination. He just needed to move, to think, to get away from the orphanage walls. Machi followed at his heels, small and bright, in the gray streets. People noticed her. They always noticed anything unusual, and a small fox-like creature trotting alongside the orphan boy was definitely unusual. An old woman stopped sweeping her porch to stare. A group of children pointed and whispered. A shopkeeper came to his door and watched them pass. Naruto kept his head down. He was used to stares. But these felt different, not hostile exactly, just confused. Like they didn't know what to make of what they were seeing. Near the village center, he passed a bench where 2 old men sat feeding crumbs to the Pidgey that gathered there. Wild Pidgey, not anyone's Pokemon. Just birds that had learned where free food was. One of the crumbs landed near Machi's feet. She sniffed it, then looked up at Naruto. "Don't eat that," he said. "I don't know where it's been." Machi made a small sound but left the crumb alone. One of the old men laughed. "Smart creature you got there." Naruto stopped. He wasn't sure if he was supposed to respond. "First Pokemon I've seen in Konoha in years," the other old man said. "Where'd you get her?" "A man," Naruto said. "Kakashi." Both old men's expressions changed slightly at the name. They exchanged a look. "Well," the first one said after a moment, You take care of her. Pokemon are special. Don't waste the chance. Naruto nodded. He walked on, Machi still at his heels. Don't waste the chance. What chance? The chance to leave? The chance to become something other than the orphan boy everyone avoided? He didn't know. He kept walking until he reached the village gates. He'd never been this close before. They were huge, made of dark wood reinforced with iron bands. 2 guards stood nearby, leaning against the wall and talking quietly. They glanced at Naruto, then at Machi, then back at each other. Naruto stood there for a long time, looking at the road that led out of the village. It curved into the trees and disappeared. He couldn't see what was beyond. Machi sat down beside him and waited. The boat leaves in 3 days, Naruto said quietly. If I go, I might never come back. Machi's ears twitched. She looked up at him with those brown eyes. I don't even know if I want to come back. A bird called from somewhere in the trees. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves. Naruto stood at the gate until his legs got tired, then he turned around and walked back to the orphanage. That night, Haruka found him in the backyard. He was sitting on the steps where Kakashi had first appeared, Machi curled in his lap. The stars were out but the moon hadn't risen yet. It was dark enough that Haruka almost missed him. You should be in bed, she said. But her voice wasn't sharp. It was tired, the way it always was at the end of the day. Naruto didn't answer. Haruka stood there for a moment, then sat down on the step beside him. Not too close. They'd never been close. The man told me about the offer, she said. The boat ticket. Naruto nodded. What do you think? He shrugged. I don't know. Haruka was quiet. When she spoke again, her voice was different, softer, like she was choosing each word carefully. I know I haven't been. I know this place isn't easy. We do our best, but it's not enough. It's never enough. Naruto looked at her. In the darkness, he couldn't see her expression clearly. When I was young, she continued, I had a chance to leave too. A different village, a different life. I was scared. So I stayed. She paused. I've wondered sometimes what would have happened if I'd gone. Naruto didn't know what to say. He'd never heard Haruka talk about herself before. She was just a tired woman who ran the orphanage, who fed them and disciplined them and kept the place running. Not a person with a past. I'm not telling you what to do, she said. Just, if you're scared, that's normal. But don't let fear make the choice for you. She stood up. 3 days. Think about it. She walked back inside. The door clicked shut. Naruto sat in the darkness with Machi warm in his lap. After a while, he realized his eyes were wet again. He wiped them with his sleeve. I don't know if I'm scared, he told Machi. I don't know what I am. Machi reached up and licked his chin. Her tongue was rough and warm. Naruto almost laughed. Almost. 2 more days passed. Naruto went through the motions, ate when food was put in front of him, slept when his body gave out, avoided the other children who still looked at him strangely but now also looked at Machi. The envelope stayed under his pillow. He checked it every morning to make sure it was still there. On the 3rd day, Kakashi came back. He found Naruto in the backyard again, throwing rocks at the same rusted can. Machi watched from the steps, head tilting every time a rock flew past. You're getting better, Kakashi said. Naruto turned. He hadn't heard the man approach. No, I'm not. You hit it twice. That was luck. Kakashi's eye crinkled. Luck counts. He sat on the steps and Machi immediately went over to investigate him, sniffing his shoes and the hem of his coat. He reached down and scratched behind her ears. She made a happy sound. Naruto put down the rock he was holding. His hands were dirty. He wiped them on his pants. Have you decided? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded. He decided last night, lying awake in the dark with Machi beside him. It hadn't been a dramatic moment. He'd just suddenly known. I'll go. Kakashi looked at him for a long moment. Then he nodded. Good. When do I leave? Tomorrow morning. Early. I'll take you to the port. Tomorrow. That was fast. Naruto's stomach flipped but he kept his face still. There are things you need to know, Kakashi said. About Pokemon. About training. About what comes next. He patted the step beside him. Sit down. Naruto sat. Kakashi reached into his coat and pulled out a small book. It was blue, with a Pokeball symbol on the cover. This is a Pokédex. It's empty now, but as you meet new Pokémon, it will fill with information about them. Professor Elm and Jato will want to see it when you arrive. Naruto took the book carefully. It felt important. Professor Elm is who you'll be staying with. He runs a Pokemon lab in a town called New Bark Town. He's expecting you. Kakashi pulled out a folded map. This is Jato. Study it on the boat. Learn the town names, the routes, the gym locations. Gyms? You challenge gym leaders for badges. 8 badges let you enter the Pokemon League conference. It's what trainers do. Kakashi unfolded the map and pointed. New Bark Town is here, at the south. Cherry Grove City is north of that. Then Violet City, with the first gym. Naruto looked at the map. So many names? So many places he'd never heard of. You'll be on your own after you meet Professor Elm, Kakashi said. He'll give you supplies, point you in the right direction, but the journey is yours. You'll make friends, enemies, rivals. You'll win battles and lose them. You'll get hurt and keep going. He paused. That's what being a trainer is. Naruto looked at Machi. She was watching him with those bright eyes. Will I be any good at it? He asked. Kakashi was quiet for a moment. I don't know. That's up to you. He stood up. Pack your things tonight. Not much, you'll be traveling light. I'll be here at dawn. He walked toward the gate, then stopped. Naruto. Naruto looked up. The people who sent me, they believe in you. I do too. He didn't wait for a response. He just walked through the gate and was gone. Naruto sat on the steps for a long time after that. Machi came and pressed against his leg. He reached down and touched her fur. I have a bag somewhere, he said. I think. Packing didn't take long. Naruto owned almost nothing. A few changes of clothes, all worn and mended. A toothbrush. A small notebook he'd found years ago, mostly empty. The ticket under his pillow. He put everything in a worn backpack that had belonged to someone else before him. It was faded blue with a broken zipper on one pocket. It would have to do. Machi watched from the bed as he packed. Every time he put something in the bag, her ears perked up. Stop that, Naruto said. You're making me nervous. He sat on the edge of the bed and looked around the room. The empty beds. The cracked window. The place on the wall where he'd scratched his name years ago, when he was small and thought leaving a mark mattered. He'd lived here his whole life. Tomorrow he'd leave and never come back. The thought should have been scary. Maybe it was. But underneath the fear was something else, something that felt like relief. Naruto reached into his bag and pulled out the notebook. He opened it to the first page. It was blank. He found a pencil stub in his pocket and wrote. I'm leaving tomorrow. I don't know if I'll come back. I don't know if anyone will miss me. But Machi will be there. That's enough. He closed the notebook and put it back in the bag. Machi jumped down from the bed and curled up on his feet. She was warm. Always warm. Tomorrow, Naruto said. Everything changes tomorrow. Dawn came gray and cold. Naruto was already awake when Kakashi arrived. He'd barely slept, kept drifting off and then jerking awake, heart pounding, sure he'd missed something. But his bag was packed. Machi was beside him. He was ready. Kakashi stood at the gate with his hands in his pockets. He looked at Naruto's bag, at Machi, at Naruto's face. Ready? Naruto nodded. His throat was too tight for words. They walked through the village while the sun came up. The streets were empty, shops still closed, windows dark. It felt like walking through a ghost town. Naruto knew every corner, every crack in the sidewalk, every place he'd ever hidden from the other kids. He tried to memorize it one last time. At the village gate, the same 2 guards were on duty. They nodded at Kakashi, glanced at Naruto, and opened the gate without a word. The road stretched out before them, curving into the trees. Naruto stepped through the gate. He was outside Konoha for the first time in his life. The air smelled different, fresher, with pine and damp earth. The trees were taller than he'd expected, their branches making a canopy that filtered the morning light. Birds called to each other from somewhere deep in the woods. Machi trotted ahead, sniffing everything. Her tail was held high. Kakashi walked beside Naruto, matching his pace. They didn't talk. The only sounds were their footsteps and the birds and Machi's occasional excited yips when she found something interesting. After about an hour, they reached a small dock on a river. A boat was waiting, nothing fancy, just a motorboat with a covered cabin. An old man sat in the pilot's seat, smoking a pipe. "This is Takeda," Kakashi said. "He'll take you downriver to the coast. From there, you catch the ferry to Johto." Naruto looked at the boat. It bobbed gently on the water. "Thank you," he said. The words felt strange in his mouth. He wasn't used to saying them. Kakashi nodded. "Take care of yourself. Take care of Machi." He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, a poke ball, but different from Machi's. This one had a blue stripe. "For emergencies. If you're in real trouble, press the button. Someone will come." Naruto took it. It was heavier than he expected. "You'll do fine," Kakashi said. "You're stronger than you know." Naruto wanted to say something, he didn't know what, but his throat was too tight again. He just nodded. Kakashi raised his hand in that lazy wave. Then he turned and walked back toward the village. Naruto watched him go until the trees swallowed him up. Machi made a small sound. She was sitting at the edge of the dock, looking at the boat. "Yeah," Naruto said. "I know." He climbed aboard. Machi jumped after him. The old man, Takeda, knocked out his pipe and started the engine. The boat pulled away from the dock. Naruto watched the shore recede, the trees getting smaller, the river widening. Konoha was gone now, hidden by the forest. He couldn't see it anymore. He sat in the boat with Machi in his lap and watched the world move past. The ferry to Johto was bigger than anything Naruto had ever seen. It was white and blue, with multiple decks and rows of windows and a smokestack that puffed gray into the sky. People were walking up the gangplank with suitcases and bags. Some of them had Pokemon with them, creatures Naruto had never seen before, in all shapes and sizes. A woman with a small green thing on her shoulder. A man leading something that looked like a yellow dog with stripes. A child carrying a ball of purple fluff in their arms. Naruto stood at the bottom of the gangplank, frozen. Machi pressed against his leg. She was watching all the other Pokemon too, ears perked. "It's okay," Naruto said. To himself or to her, he wasn't sure. He showed his ticket to a man at the bottom of the plank. The man glanced at it, glanced at him, waved him through. The boat was huge inside. Naruto found his cabin, a tiny room with a bunk bed and a porthole, and put his bag on the bottom bunk. Machi immediately jumped up and claimed the pillow. "You can't have the whole thing," Naruto said. Machi looked at him with those brown eyes. She didn't move. Naruto sighed. He sat on the edge of the bunk and looked out the porthole. The dock was still there. People were still boarding. The sky was gray and heavy. A horn sounded, deep and loud. The boat shuddered. "We're moving," Naruto said. Machi's ears perked. They sat together and watched through the porthole as the dock got smaller, then the town, then the coast. Soon there was nothing but water in every direction. Naruto had never seen the ocean before. It went on forever. It made him feel small, but not in a bad way. Just small. Like his problems were small too, compared to all that water. Machi made a soft sound and put her head on his knee. "Yeah," Naruto said. "I know." The journey took 3 days. Naruto spent most of it on deck, watching the sea and the sky and the occasional islands they passed. Machi explored the boat, making friends with other Pokemon and their trainers. She always came back to Naruto, though. Always found him again. On the second day, a girl about his age approached him. She had brown hair and pigtails and a small red creature on her shoulder. "Hi," she said. "I'm Hanako. That's a really cute Eevee." Naruto looked at Machi. Machi looked at him. "Thanks," he said. "Are you going to Johto to be a trainer?" He nodded. "Me too. I'm starting in New Barktown. Professor Elm's lab." She beamed. "Maybe we'll be rivals." Naruto didn't know what to say to that. He'd never had a rival before. He'd never had a friend. "Maybe," he said. Hanako talked for a while longer, about her starter Pokemon. The red one was a fletchling, she explained, about her family. They lived in a small town in Kanto, about all the gyms she wanted to challenge. Naruto listened more than he talked. It was easier that way. When she left, Machi looked up at him. "What?" Naruto said. "Shut up." Machi's tail wagged. On the third morning, land appeared on the horizon. Naruto stood at the railing with Machi in his arms and watched it get closer. Green hills. White cliffs. A town at the water's edge, with buildings that looked different from Konoha's. brighter, newer, with colorful roofs. Jado, someone beside him said. It was an old woman, traveling with a small gray cat on her lap. First time? Naruto nodded. It's a good region, she said. Kind people. Strong Pokemon. You'll like it. The boat glided into the harbor. Seagulls cried overhead. People on the dock were waving, welcoming friends, family, strangers. Naruto gripped the railing. His heart was beating too fast. Machi squirmed in his arms until he put her down. She stood at his feet, tail high, ready. The boat docked. The gangplank lowered. People started moving. Naruto took a breath. Then another. Okay, he said. Let's go. He picked up his bag, settled it on his shoulders, and walked down the gangplank onto Johto's soil. The sun was warm on his face. The air smelled like salt and fish and something sweet he couldn't name. People hurried past with their Pokemon, going about their days. No one looked at him strangely. No one whispered or pointed. He was just another trainer, arriving with his partner. Machi made a happy sound and started exploring the dock. Naruto followed her. For the first time in his life, he didn't know what was coming next, and it didn't scare him. It felt like beginning. New Barktown was small. Naruto had expected something bigger, a city, maybe, like the ones he'd heard about. But New Barktown was just a cluster of buildings along the coast, with dirt roads and wooden fences and more grass than pavement. It reminded him a little of the edge of Konoha, where the village faded into countryside. He liked it immediately. The Pokemon lab was easy to find, a white building with a red roof, set slightly apart from the other houses. A sign out front had a Pokeball symbol, and the name Professor ELM in clean letters. Naruto stood outside for a moment, Machi at his feet. He could hear voices inside, someone talking, someone else laughing. Normal sounds. Human sounds. He knocked. The door opened almost immediately. A man stood there, young, younger than Kakashi, maybe, with brown hair and glasses and a lab coat that had seen better days. He was holding a cup of coffee and looking at Naruto with mild surprise. You must be Naruto, he said. We got a message from Kakashi. Come in, come in. Naruto stepped inside. The lab was cluttered but organized, shelves of books, tables with equipment, a computer in the corner. Through a door in the back, Naruto could hear more voices and what sounded like Pokemon calls. I'm Professor Elm, the man said, setting down his coffee. Sorry about the mess. We're in the middle of a research project. He looked at Machi. And this must be the famous Eevee. Kakashi mentioned her. Machi wagged her tail. She's great, Elm said. Eevee are rare, you know. Special. They can evolve into many different forms, depending on their environment and their bond with their trainer. He crouched down to look at her more closely. Healthy coat, bright eyes, good energy. You're taking care of her. Naruto didn't know what to say. He'd just been feeding her whatever the orphanage cook gave him. I have some things for you, Elm said, standing up. Standard starter kit, Pokeballs, potions, some food. Also a new Pokédex. Kakashi said he gave you an empty one, but this one's updated with Johto region data. He handed Naruto a small device, similar to the book Kakashi had given him but sleeker, with a screen. It'll record information about every Pokemon you meet. It's a researcher's best friend. Naruto took it carefully. Thank you? Don't thank me yet. Elm's smile faded slightly. There's something else. Something I need to tell you before you start your journey. Naruto waited. Elm motioned to a chair. Naruto sat. Machi jumped into his lap. Kakashi didn't tell you everything, Elm said. About why he found you. About why you were chosen. Naruto's hands went cold. There's a man, Elm continued. His name is Jiraiya. He's been watching you for a long time, from a distance, making sure you are safe. He's the one who asked Kakashi to find you. The one who arranged all of this. Naruto didn't recognize the name. Why? Because he knew your parents. The words hit like a physical blow. Naruto's breath caught. I don't have parents, he said. His voice came out rough. I'm an orphan. You were left at the orphanage, Elm said gently. That's true. But you weren't abandoned. Your parents, your mother and father, they loved you. They wanted you to have a chance at life. A better life than they could give you. Naruto couldn't speak. Machi pressed against him, warm and solid. I don't know all the details, Elm said. Jiraiya will explain when you meet him. But I know this, Your mother was from Konoha. Your father was from Johto. They met during difficult times, fell in love, had you. And then. He paused. Then something happened. Something that made them send you away to keep you safe. Naruto's eyes were burning. He blinked hard. Jiraiya is in Johto now, Elm said. He travels a lot, but he checks in with me occasionally. When you're ready, when you've proven yourself, he'll find you. He'll tell you everything. How do I prove myself? Naruto's voice cracked. Become a strong trainer. Travel the region. Face the gyms. Show everyone, show yourself, what you're capable of. Elm leaned forward. That's what your parents would have wanted. Not for you to stay hidden. For you to live. Naruto sat in the chair with Machi in his lap and tried to process what he'd heard. Parents. He had parents. Had past tense. But still, they'd existed. They'd loved him. Someone had watched over him all these years. I don't know if I can do this, he whispered. Machi made a soft sound and licked his hand. Elm stood up. You're already doing it. You left everything you knew to come here. That takes more courage than most people ever show. He walked to a shelf and pulled down a small box. Here. Extra supplies. And a map marked with the gym locations. Start with Violet City, it's the closest. The gym leader there, Faulkner, specializes in flying types. He's tough but fair. A good first challenge. Naruto took the box. His hands were shaking slightly. Thank you, he said. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was all he had. Elm nodded. Take care of yourself. Take care of your partner. And when you're ready, come back and tell me about your journey. He smiled. That's what I'm here for. Naruto left the lab with his bag heavier and his heart fuller than when he'd arrived. The afternoon sun was warm. Machi trotted beside him, occasionally stopping to sniff at flowers or chase a bug. Normal things. Simple things. He walked to the edge of town where the road north began. A signpost pointed toward Cherrygrove City, Violet City, and beyond. Route 29 stretched out before him, a dirt path through fields of tall grass, with trees in the distance and hills beyond that. Somewhere out there were gyms to challenge, Pokemon to meet, a man named Jiraiya who knew about his parents. Naruto took a breath. Then another. You ready? He asked Machi. EV. They stepped onto the path together. The tall grass rustled. Naruto froze. Machi froze beside him. They'd been walking for about an hour, following the dirt path north, when the rustling started. It came from the grass to their left, a patch that was thicker than the rest, swaying even though there was no wind. Pokemon, Naruto whispered. Machi's ears were flat against her head. She was watching the grass intently. The rustling stopped. They waited. Nothing happened. Maybe it left, Naruto said. Then something burst out of the grass. It was small, about the size of Machi, with brown fur and a cream-colored stomach. Its ears were round and its eyes were wide and it was running straight at them. Naruto stumbled backward. Machi stepped forward, placing herself between him and the creature. The creature skidded to a stop. It blinked at them. Then it made a sound. Sentret! And sat down, tail wagging. Naruto stared at it. Is it friendly? Machi took a cautious step toward the Sentret. The Sentret's tail wagged harder. Machi sniffed it. The Sentret sniffed back. Then they both started making happy sounds and circling each other. Naruto let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. You scared me, he told the Sentret. The Sentret looked at him with bright eyes and chittered. Machi looked back at Naruto, then at the Sentret, then back at Naruto. Her expression was clear. Can we keep it? I don't know, Naruto said. I don't know how to catch Pokemon. Machi made a frustrated sound. She nudged his bag with her nose, the bag where Elm had put the Pokeballs. Right. Pokeballs. That's how. Naruto rummaged in his bag and pulled one out. It was smooth and red and fit in his palm the way Machi's ball had fit in Kakashi's hand. The Sentret was still there, watching him curiously. It didn't seem scared. It didn't seem aggressive. It just seemed interested. Okay, Naruto said. Here goes nothing. He tapped the button on the front of the ball. It expanded. He threw it. The ball arced through the air and hit the Sentret on the side. It opened, releasing a beam of red light that pulled the Sentret inside. The ball fell to the ground. It wobbled once. Twice. 3 times. Then it clicked. Naruto stared at it. Machi ran over and sniffed it, then looked back at him with what was definitely excitement. Did I catch it? He walked over and picked up the ball. It felt warm in his hand. Through the plastic, he could sense something, a presence, a life, small and curious and not afraid. He pressed the button. The ball opened and the centret appeared in a flash of light. It looked at him. Made that sound again. Centret! Then it jumped up and down a few times, clearly happy. Naruto didn't know what to do. He'd never caught anything before. He'd never owned anything before, except the clothes on his back and the bag over his shoulder. Hi, he said. The centret chittered. Machi came over and touched noses with it. They seemed to have a conversation, silent, the way Pokemon did, and then both looked at Naruto expectantly. Okay, Naruto said. Okay. You need a name. The centret tilted its head. How about Pipsqueak? The centret did not look impressed. No? Okay, Naruto thought. Sento? That's boring. Maru? The centret considered this. Then it made a sound that might have been approval. Maru it is. Naruto felt something in his chest, warm, unfamiliar. Welcome to the team, Maru. Maru chittered and climbed up Naruto's leg to perch on his shoulder. It was heavier than it looked. Machi made a sound that might have been jealousy. You're still my starter, Naruto told her. You're special. Machi's tail wagged. They walked until the sun started getting low. The path had taken them through fields and past a few farms, and now they were approaching the outskirts of a town. Cherry Grove City, according to the map. It was bigger than New Bark Town, actual buildings, actual streets, lights starting to come on as evening fell. Naruto was tired. His legs ached. His shoulders ached from the bag. Maru had moved from his shoulder to the top of his head at some point, and was now gently snoring. Machi walked beside him, still alert, still watching everything. At the edge of town, there was a Pokemon Center. Naruto recognized it from the description Elm had given him: red roof, poke ball symbol, always open. A place where trainers could rest and heal their Pokemon for free. He pushed through the door. The inside was warm and bright. A few trainers sat at tables, eating and talking. A counter ran along one wall, with a nurse behind it in a pink uniform. She looked up as Naruto entered and smiled. Welcome! Are you here to rest for the night? Naruto nodded. Yes. Please. Wonderful. Just sign in here. She pointed to a clipboard. And I'll get you a room. Your Pokemon can stay with you, of course. Naruto signed. His handwriting was messy. He didn't care. The nurse handed him a key. Room 7 down the hall on the left. Dinner's served in an hour if you're hungry. Naruto took the key. Thank you. He found the room, small, with 2 beds and a window overlooking the street. He set down his bag. Maru woke up and jumped off his head onto one of the beds. Machi claimed the other. Naruto sat on the edge of Machi's bed and looked at his Pokemon. His Pokemon. He had 2 of them now. 2 creatures who trusted him, who followed him, who chose him. His eyes were wet again. He didn't fight it this time. I don't know what I'm doing, he told them. I don't know if I'm any good at this. But I'll try. I'll really try. Machi made a soft sound. Maru chittered from the other bed. Outside, the lights of Cherry Grove City flickered on one by one. Somewhere out there were gyms to challenge, rivals to meet, a man named Jiraiya who held the secrets of his past. Somewhere out there was a future Naruto couldn't imagine yet. But right now, in this small room with his Pokemon beside him, he was okay. For the first time in his life, he was okay. Naruto woke up to sunlight in his face and something warm on his chest. He blinked. Machi was curled up on his sternum, her small body rising and falling with each breath. Across the room, Maru was sprawled on his back on the other bed, all 4 feet in the air, snoring softly. Naruto lay still for a moment. He didn't want to move. Didn't want to break whatever this was. But his stomach growled, and Machi's ears twitched, and the moment shattered. She lifted her head and looked at him with sleepy eyes. V? Morning, Naruto said. His voice was rough. Machi stretched, her whole body lengthening, then curled back into a ball on his chest. Clearly she wasn't ready to get up. Naruto didn't mind. He lay there with the sunlight warming his face and Machi's weight pressing against him and listened to Maru's snoring. It was the most peaceful he'd ever felt. An hour later, they were in the Pokemon Center's dining area. Naruto had a plate of food in front of him, real food, not the watery porridge they served at the orphanage. Eggs and toast and something that looked like meat but softer. He ate slowly, savoring each bite. Machi had her own bowl of Pokemon food, provided by the center. She was eating daintily, one piece at a time. Maru had finished his in about 30 seconds and was now eyeing Machi's bowl hopefully. "No," Naruto said. "That's hers." Maru made a sad sound. A trainer at the next table laughed. He was older than Naruto, maybe 16, with the Growlithe sleeping at his feet. "First time traveling?" Naruto nodded. "Yeah, I remember that. The Pokemon always want to eat each other's food." He grinned. "You get used to it. Learn to buy extra." Naruto filed that information away. The trainer introduced himself as Kenji. He was from Cherry Grove originally, heading to Violet City to challenge the gym. They talked for a while. Kenji did most of the talking, Naruto listened, about routes and Pokemon, and which gym leaders were toughest. "Faulkner's first," Kenji said. "Flying types. His Pidgeotto is no joke. You'll want something that can hit hard and fast, or something with rock-type moves." Naruto looked at Machi. Machi looked back. "I don't know what moves she has," Naruto admitted. Kenji laughed again. "You really are new. Take them to the training field behind the center. You can practice there, figure out what they can do." He stood up, stretching. "Good luck, kid. Maybe I'll see you in Violet City." He left with his Growlithe padding behind him. Naruto finished his breakfast. Then he took his Pokemon to the training field. The field was a large open space behind the Pokemon Center, surrounded by trees. A few other trainers were there already, practicing with their partners. Naruto watched for a moment, a girl with a Poliwag, a boy with a Spearow, an older man with a Magnemite that floated eerily still. He found an empty corner and sat down in the grass. Machi and Maru looked at him expectantly. "Okay," he said. "I don't really know how this works. But Kenji said we should figure out your moves. So, show me what you can do." Machi tilted her head. Then she trotted a few feet away, turned to face a nearby tree, and concentrated. Her body tensed. Her fur seemed to stand up slightly. Then she opened her mouth and a stream of small, glowing stars shot out, peppering the tree trunk. "Swift," Naruto breathed. He'd read about that in the Pokédex last night. Machi looked back at him, proud. "That's great," Naruto said. "What else?" She thought for a moment. Then she jumped straight up, her body spinning, and came down with her tail glowing. It hit the ground with a thump, leaving a small crater. "Iron Tail," the Pokédex said in its electronic voice. Naruto pulled out the device. He hadn't even realized it was recording. The screen showed Machi's silhouette and a list of moves: Swift, Iron Tail, Tackle, Sand Attack. "She knows 4 moves," Naruto said. "That's good, right?" Machi wagged her tail. Maru, not wanting to be left out, ran to the same tree and jumped at it. He hit the trunk with his small body, bounced off, and landed on his back. "Tackle," the Pokédex said. Maru got up, shook himself off, and tried again. Same result. Naruto couldn't help it, he laughed. It was the first time he'd laughed in, he didn't know how long. It felt strange in his throat. Good strange. Maru looked at him, offended. Sorry. Naruto tried to stop laughing. "That was mean. You're doing great." Maru huffed but came over and climbed onto his shoulder anyway. The Pokédex listed Maru's moves: Tackle, Scratch, Foresight, Quick Attack. "So we have work to do," Naruto said. "That's okay. We have time." They spent the afternoon at the training field. Naruto wasn't sure what he was doing, really. He'd never trained anything before. But he watched other trainers, tried to copy what they did. He had Machi practice her Swift until she was tired, then had Maru practice Quick Attack, dashing back and forth between 2 trees until his small legs gave out. By evening, both Pokemon were exhausted. Machi was sprawled in the grass, tongue hanging out. Maru had curled up on Naruto's lap and was already asleep. Naruto sat there with the evening light fading around him and felt something he couldn't name. A woman approached, one of the trainers he'd seen earlier, with the Magnemite floating beside her. She was older, maybe 30, with tired eyes and a kind smile. "First day training?" she asked. Naruto nodded. "You're doing fine. Better than most." She sat down on a nearby bench. I've been training for 15 years. My Magnemite and I have been through 3 regions together. She looked at the floating Pokemon with something soft in her eyes. It's not about being the best. It's about being together. Naruto looked at Maru. Together. He'd never been part of it together before. Thanks, he said. The woman nodded. She stayed on the bench, watching the sunset with her Magnemite. Naruto stayed in the grass with his Pokemon. Neither of them spoke. It was enough. That night, Naruto couldn't sleep again. Not because he was scared this time. Because his mind was too full of the training, of the woman's words, of Machi and Maru and the road ahead. Of parents he'd never known and a man named Jiraiya he'd never met. He got out of bed carefully, trying not to wake Machi. She stirred but didn't open her eyes. Maru was a warm lump at the foot of the bed. Naruto went to the window. The street below was empty, lit by occasional street lamps. A figure walked past, someone in a dark coat, moving fast, and was gone before Naruto could get a good look. He watched for a while longer. Then he went back to bed, slid carefully under the covers, and closed his eyes. Machi shifted closer to him in her sleep. Maru snored. Naruto listened to their small sounds and eventually slept. The road to Violet City went through Route 30, which according to the map was longer and more winding than the path from New Bark Town. More forests. More hills. More Pokemon. Naruto left Cherry Grove early, before the sun was fully up. He wanted to make good time. Machi trotted beside him, alert and ready. Maru rode on his shoulder, still half asleep. The first few hours were peaceful. The path wound through gentle hills, past farms and small clusters of trees. They saw wild Pokemon, Pidgey in the fields, Rattata scurrying through the grass, but none of them approached. Around midday, they stopped to eat by a small stream. Naruto shared his food with Machi and Maru, then refilled his water bottle from the stream. The water was cold and clean. We should catch something else, Naruto said. A stronger team for the gym. Machi looked at him. Maru kept eating. I don't know what yet. Something that's good against flying types. The Pokédex, when he consulted it, suggested rock, electric, or ice types. None of which were common in this area, apparently. We'll figure it out, Naruto said. We always do. He wasn't sure when we had become his default. But it felt right. They found the Pokemon in the afternoon. It was in a patch of tall grass near the edge of the forest. Naruto heard it before he saw it. A rustling, then a cry, then the sound of something moving fast. Machi's ears went flat. She stepped in front of Naruto. A Pokemon burst from the grass. It was small and brown, with a bushy tail and large ears. It skidded to a stop when it saw them, then turned and tried to run back into the grass. But another Pokemon was there, blocking its path. This one was bigger. Darker. Its eyes were red and mean-looking. Naruto didn't recognize either of them. He pulled out the Pokédex. The first one was an EV, like Machi, but different coloring. The second was a Houndour, dark and fire type, known for hunting in packs. This one was alone. But it looked hungry. The EV was trembling. It was smaller than Machi, younger maybe. Its fur was matted and dirty. The Houndour advanced, growling low in its throat. Machi made a sound Naruto had never heard from her, a warning, a challenge. She stepped forward. Machi, wait! But she was already moving. Swift stars shot from her mouth, hitting the Houndour in the side. It yelped and spun to face her. The EV took the chance to run, straight toward Naruto. It collided with his legs and huddled there shaking. Naruto didn't have time to think. The Houndour was advancing on Machi now, flames flickering at the corners of its mouth. Machi stood her ground, tail high. Maru, Naruto said. Quick attack! Now! Maru launched from his shoulder, a brown blur, and hit the Houndour from the side. The Houndour stumbled. Machi followed up with Iron Tail, catching it across the face. The Houndour growled, shook itself, and ran. Back into the grass, gone as suddenly as it had appeared. Naruto's heart was pounding. He ran to Machi, checked her for injuries. Nothing serious, just some scratches. Maru was already climbing back onto his shoulder, proud of himself. You were amazing, Naruto told them. Both of you. Then he remembered the EV. It was still huddled against his legs, shaking. When Naruto crouched down, it flinched. Hey, he said softly. It's okay. It's gone. The EV looked at him with terrified eyes. Machi approached slowly, carefully. She sniffed the Eevee. Made a soft sound. The Eevee made a smaller sound back. Naruto didn't know what to do. This wasn't like catching Maru, who'd been curious and friendly. This Eevee was scared. Hurt, maybe? Alone. We can't leave it here, he said. Machi looked at him. So did Maru. Okay. Okay. Naruto reached into his bag and pulled out a pokeball. He held it out to the Eevee, open palm. You don't have to come with us. But if you want to be safe, you can. The Eevee stared at the ball. Then at Naruto. Then at Machi. Very slowly, it reached out one small paw and touched the button. The ball opened. Red light pulled the Eevee inside. It wobbled once, twice, 3 times. Clicked. Naruto let out a breath. He picked up the ball. It felt different from Maru's, heavier somehow. Like it held more weight. Let's find somewhere safe, he said. She needs rest. They found a small clearing off the main path, sheltered by trees. Naruto sat with his back against a trunk and released the new Eevee. She appeared in a flash of light, immediately curling into a ball. Machi went to her, lay down beside her, started grooming her dirty fur with gentle licks. Maru stayed on Naruto's shoulder, watching quietly. Naruto pulled out the Pokédex. The new Eevee's information appeared on screen. Same species as Machi. Same potential. But her moves were different: tackle, tail whip, helping hand, and something called bite. She's been through a lot, Naruto said quietly. I don't know how to help her. Maru made a soft sound and pressed his head against Naruto's cheek. Naruto sat in the clearing with his Pokemon and watched the light fade. The new Eevee hadn't moved. Machi hadn't stopped grooming her. He didn't know what would happen tomorrow. He didn't know if the Eevee would trust him, would stay with them, would become part of their strange little family. But for now, she was safe. They were all safe. That was enough. The new Eevee didn't move for hours. Naruto built a small fire as the night got colder, something he'd learned from watching other travelers on the ferry. It wasn't much, but it pushed back the dark and the cold. Machi stayed beside the new Eevee the whole time, a warm presence against her side. Maru had finally fallen asleep in Naruto's lap. His small body rose and fell with each breath. Naruto stared into the fire and thought about nothing. It was easier that way. Around midnight, the new Eevee stirred. Naruto looked up. She was sitting up now, looking around with those scared eyes. Machi made a soft sound and nudged her. Hey, Naruto said quietly. You're okay. The Eevee looked at him. Didn't run. Didn't flinch. Just looked. I'm Naruto. That's Machi. The snoring one is Maru. He pointed. We're traveling to Violet City. You can come with us if you want. Or you can leave in the morning. Either way. The Eevee stared at him for a long moment. Then she looked at Machi. Then back at Naruto. She stood up, walked slowly toward him, and sat down at his feet. Naruto's chest did something complicated. Okay, he said. Okay. Do you want a name? The Eevee tilted her head. I'm not good with names, Naruto admitted. Machi was named by someone else. Maru just happened. Machi came over and sat beside the new Eevee. The two of them looked at Naruto with identical expressions. Naruto thought. How about Hana? The new Eevee considered this. It means flower, Naruto said. Because, I don't know. You seem like one. Hana blinked. Then she made a small sound, V, and pressed her nose against his hand. Naruto's eyes stung. He blinked hard. Okay, he said. Hana it is. In the morning, they had 3 Pokemon. Naruto woke to find Hana pressed against one side and Machi against the other, with Maru sprawled across his feet. He was warm for the first time since leaving Konoha, warm and surrounded and strangely, impossibly content. He lay still, not wanting to wake them. The morning light filtered through the trees. Birds called somewhere in the distance. The fire had burned down to ash during the night. Hana's eyes opened. She looked at him. No fear this time, just curiosity. Morning, Naruto whispered. Hana made a soft sound and closed her eyes again. Naruto smiled. It felt natural now, smiling. Like something he'd always done. They reached Violet City 2 days later. The city was bigger than Cherry Grove, Actual stone buildings, actual crowds, actual gym with a tower that rose above everything else. Naruto stood at the entrance to the city and stared at it. "That's where we're going," he said. Machi stood beside him, tail high. Maru was on his shoulder, as usual. Hana stayed close to his heels, still nervous in open spaces. They found the Pokemon Center first. Got a room. Ate. Rested. Then Naruto went to find the gym. The Violet City Gym was a tall building with a bird motif, Pokemon carved into the stone, wings spreading above the entrance. Naruto pushed through the doors and found himself in a large open space with a high ceiling. Wind machines created a constant breeze. A young man stood in the center. He had dark hair and sharp eyes and a Pidgeotto perched on his shoulder. "You're here for the badge?" he asked. Naruto nodded. His heart was beating too fast. "I'm Faulkner. This is my gym." The man studied him. "You're new. I can tell." Naruto didn't know what to say to that. "3 Pokemon?" Faulkner glanced at Machi, Maru, Hana. "Interesting team. Let's see what you can do." The battle was quick. Too quick. Faulkner's Pidgeotto was fast, faster than anything Naruto had faced. It dodged Machi's swift like the stars were moving in slow motion. It took out Maru with one gust attack, sending him tumbling across the floor. Hana tried her best but didn't last much longer. Machi fought hard. She landed one iron tail, caught the Pidgeotto on the wing. But it wasn't enough. When the last of Naruto's Pokemon fell, he stood there in the middle of the gym with his hands shaking. "You did well," Faulkner said. "For a first try." He recalled his Pidgeotto. "Come back when you're stronger. When your team trusts each other more." Naruto gathered his Pokemon. Machi was limping slightly. Maru was unconscious. Hana was shaking again, not from fear this time, but from exhaustion. He carried them to the Pokemon Center and handed them over to the nurse. Then he sat in the lobby and stared at the wall. He'd failed. His first real challenge, and he failed. Machi's ball sat on the bench beside him. He picked it up, held it in his hands. It was warm. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I wasn't good enough." The ball didn't answer. But he felt something through it, a presence, a warmth. Not words. Just feeling. "It's okay," the feeling seemed to say. "We're together." Naruto closed his eyes and leaned his head back against the wall. They stayed in Violet City for 2 weeks. Naruto trained every day. Morning until night, with breaks only for food and sleep. He learned about type matchups, about move combinations, about reading opponents. He watched other trainers battle and tried to understand what they did differently. Machi got faster. Her swift became more accurate, her iron tail stronger. She learned a new move, quick attack, by watching Maru and copying him. Maru got tougher. He stopped bouncing off trees and started leaving dents in them. His quick attack became a blur. He learned to combine it with Scratch for a devastating 1-2 combo. Hana slowly started to trust. It wasn't easy. She still flinched at sudden movements, still hid behind Naruto's legs when strangers approached. But she fought. In training battles, she gave everything she had. Her helping move made Machi and Maru stronger. Her bite, when it landed, did real damage. And at night, she curled up between Naruto and Machi and slept without nightmares. On the 14th day, Naruto went back to the gym. This time, Faulkner smiled when he saw him. "You've been training," he said. "I can see it." Naruto nodded. His Pokemon stood beside him, Machi in front, Maru on his shoulder, Hana at his heels. "Let's see what you've learned." The battle was different this time. Faulkner started with his Pidgey, smaller, faster than the Pidgeotto. Naruto sent out Maru. Maru dodged the first gust, closed distance with quick attack, and landed a scratch that sent the Pidgey reeling. One more hit and it was down. Next came Faulkner's Pidgeotto. Naruto recalled Maru and sent out Hana. Hana trembled for a moment. Then she looked at Naruto, looked at him with those scared eyes, and something shifted in her expression. She turned to face the Pidgeotto and growled. The battle was fierce. Pidgeotto was faster, stronger. But Hana was smart. She used Helping Hand on herself. Naruto hadn't known that was possible, and her bite attacks hit harder. She took hits and kept going. Kept fighting. When she finally went down, the Pidgeotto was panting, injured. Naruto sent out Machi. Machi didn't waste time. Swift, then Iron Tail, then swift again. Pidgeotto tried to dodge, tried to fight back, but it was too hurt, too tired. One final Iron Tail connected. Pidgeotto hit the ground and didn't get up. Faulkner recalled it. For a moment, he just looked at Naruto. Then he walked forward and held out a small badge, shaped like wings, glinting in the light. You earned this, he said. Zephyr badge. Well done. Naruto took it. His hand was shaking. The badge was heavier than it looked. Your EV, Faulkner said. The scared one. She fought like she had something to prove. Naruto looked at Hana's pokeball. She did. She'll evolve soon, I think. With that kind of heart. Faulkner nodded. Take care of them. All of them. Naruto left the gym with the badge in his pocket, and his Pokémon in their balls and something burning in his chest that felt like pride. That night, they celebrated. Naruto bought real food, not just the cheap stuff, and they ate together in their room at the Pokémon Center. Machi got extra portions. Maru got belly rubs. Hana got to sit in Naruto's lap for the first time without shaking. After dinner, Naruto took out the badge and looked at it. His first badge. His first real achievement. There would be more. 7 more gyms, then the league conference. And somewhere along the way, a man named Jiraiya who held the secrets of his past. But tonight he had this. He had them. He looked at his Pokémon Machi, Maru, Hana. 3 EVs, though only 2 were EVs technically. 3 hearts that had chosen him. I don't know what comes next, he said. But we'll face it together. Okay? Machi wagged her tail. Maru chittered. Hana pressed her nose against his hand. Together. It was the best word Naruto knew.